Good evening, salutations, wherever you're watching us, wherever you're listening to us. This is the one and only Extreme Anime Radio podcast, April the 3rd, 2025. And if you're watching us right now, this is the reason why we're coming on a little bit late. Discord is being Discord. My disappearing and reappearing friend, Mr. Neff Canuck. Hello, sir.
Good evening. I knew it was too good to be true when the weather was absolutely spectacular today. And I'm going, okay, this day has been too perfect. Something is going to go wrong.
Yes,
And apparently it's Discord.
Yeah. Discord is not liking Neff's camera, or it may not be liking me. We don't know exactly what it is. So if you see Neff disappear and reappear on camera, you'll know the situation. In the meantime, I have Liz's green screen installed now. So what do you think, Neff?
I think you're doing an excellent job of, hiding your background as opposed to me, who's apparently just hiding. I'm literally sitting here and I'm telling you folks, in the preview window in Discord, everything looks honky-dory. But every so often, apparently, I'm just going, poof, like some 2-bit magician.
Yeah. So we do apologize if you're watching us. There's nothing I think we can do about that tonight. We didn't want to delay the proceedings too long, but we're here, the first stream in April, the XAR podcast. Now, first, a little bit of a word for those of you listening to us on Spotify. If you're listening to us on Spotify or any of the podcasting realms for that matter, you may have noticed that we skipped an episode number. That is not a mistake. We did a podcast last week, but it was a lot of show and tell because Bree and I had just come back from Japan. We were showing photos from our trip, which was magical. So if you want to see what happened from that, go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com at Extreme Anime Radio, or look up the Extreme Anime Radio podcast, the episode that was last week from the end of March, and it's marked Japan Trip Recap or something like that. So you'll be able to see Japan through our own eyes and through the cameras. And we're all telling stories about everything that happened during our 2+ weeks over there. So that's why there is no audio podcast of last week, because it was, like I said, show and tell. And we decided under the circumstances that was the best thing to do. This time, on the other hand, not a lot to see, in fact, at the moment, with Neff again doing his Penn and Teller act over there, disappearing and reappearing. But this will be...
I was more worried you were going to say there was a tiger in my room. Yay!
No. But yes, this will be more of a traditional show, with the exception of maybe later, assuming Neff has the goods. Do you have the goods?
I have the goods and a little story about the goods. We'll talk about that when we get a chance to show the goods
later. And please don't tell about how I mislabeled the package.
No. It's what you didn't tell me else about the package that led to some fun and games at the post office today.
Oh no. Okay. Well,
no, nothing bad. It was more of I wasn't sure, so I kind of over-prepared.
Okay. Well, we'll elaborate on that in a moment then. Yeah. But yes, we are here. And once again, if you're listening to us, you want to see all the visuals, you want to see the green screen, my new green screen in action, and you want to see Neff disappearing and reappearing, go to Twitch and YouTube, search for the Extreme Anime Radio podcast there. And of course, if you want to take us on the road, look up Extreme Anime Radio podcast on Spotify or your favorite podcasting platform. Well, Neff, a lot of bad news these last few days, so we'll just talk about the good news. We'll do our best. How about that?
That sounds like a plan. It really does.
Yeah. So first, good news, and in fact, something that people can't stop talking about the last week and a half. No, not the week and a half. The last day and a half, and it feels like that much. Nintendo Switch 2 has been, quote unquote, unveiled. Well, more of a full unveiling now. Um, so many interesting games, and really, to me, Nintendo Switch 2 should be called something else besides Nintendo Switch 2 because it is fundamentally different than the original Nintendo Switch in so many ways. Um, from the dock, which has its own cooling and better games you can play. And we saw the trailer for what was originally Mario Kart 9 and now is officially called Mario Kart World. And let's see, we have Outrun, Burnout Paradise, and Grand Theft Auto rolled up into a Mario Kart game, Nev. That's basically what it is, right?
Yeah, I'll say this though. I'm going, okay, so they're trying this and it could really work or it could be really weird. Now, one thing I did note, the lobby size has increased
Mm-hmm.
to an insane number. And I say that only because the amount of data that's going to be going back and forth
Yeah.
with a full lobby is going to be nuts.
I'm
The
wondering
lobby
if
size
we
in this
do our
case being
show.
24.
Yeah, I wonder if we end up doing that one day, if we're gonna run into any issues.
Well, if we get up to 20, if we can manage to get up to 24 people and it stays stable,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm going, okay. They finally got the online thing, figured out.
Right.
This is, of course, Nintendo's big bugaboo that when it comes to online stuff, they kind of don't really put that much effort into making it good.
Right.
It's adequate, not good.
Right. And some games work, some games don't. Look at the Super Mario Party game that came before Jamboree and how laggy that was.
Yeah. And again, I mean, the next problem is going to be that, again, if Nintendo is insistent on having their own servers for all this multiplayer stuff, beef up your servers, please, especially when we're paying,
Right.
a monthly or yearly fee to access them. Shouldn't there be enough money there to maintain the darn things?
Right. Well, give Nintendo this much. Their website was up. I thought it might go down at some point yesterday after the Nintendo Direct, but no, it seemed to be up and running. And we had a nice little running chat in Discord. Myself and Mika and Alva showed up, of all people, for a little bit to talk about what was going on. And in fact, thanks to Alva, I put my name on the list for the interest in Nintendo Switch. Probably the other 10 million people that have signed up by now.
Okay. Funny you should mention that because I'm friends with a person from Scotland in another Discord channel.
Right.
And they registered yesterday. 8 hours later, they're told, here is a link. Prepare to order next week. And I'm going in my head, what? 8 hours and in Scotland, and and then I realize there's probably one Switch 2 for all of Scotland, and they got it.
We'll have to ask Caleb. Maybe they got it. But no, I believe the situation for us is that if Nintendo sends a link, first come, first serve, we have a certain amount of time to quote unquote claim it. Is that how it's running, I think?
I don't know the particulars. I mean, I understood that to be what would eventually happen. I just didn't realize that in some locales they would just, do it right away. But again, I guess because there are lower numbers there in Europe as opposed to over here,
right,
that they could do it maybe as a test run and see how it works before unleashing the hounds.
Yes.
Although with the Canadian pricing, I'm not sure there are going to be that many hounds. Got to be honest.
Oh, yes. What is it? You said 700 Canadian dollars?
630 for just the system.
Okay.
If you want a pack-in game, in this case, the Mario Kart game, it's 700.
Wow.
Canadian dollars. Yeah. That's a lot of Canadian pesos, let me tell you. And that's before any other external factors that might play with the price.
Right. So it was in the US, $449 for the console, $499 if you want to get it with the Super Mario, the Mario Kart World game. And then we have the add-on accessories on top of that, other games that will be available on release, and something that will probably drive the web traffic up a little more, Nev, web cameras.
You know what? I saw that and I'm going, I don't see the purpose of a webcam
Yeah,
for a Nintendo game. Like, just because majority of them aren't really like that you need to see somebody, right? To
right,
actually enjoy the game. Audio is fine. In fact, audio is great. But in terms of, seeing somebody's mug, I'm like, I don't think I'd pay for it. I mean, especially because I'm guessing with the pricing structure I'm seeing so far, that's probably going to be over 100 Canadian dollars for this camera. And it ain't
right,
that great a camera from what I can tell.
right.
But they did say that if you brought your own web camera, it might work. We just can't guarantee it.
Interesting.
And I have a couple of spares, older ones that I don't use. I'm going, maybe one of these older ones might actually work.
Then I'm reading a lot more. It's going to be a lot more functionality. The game chat, which will involve the cameras, I think, and also the built-in microphone on the Switch as well, so you can talk to the Switch and I guess have a conversation. I wonder how that will work if we do like a Mario Kart World stream sometime in the future.
All I know is there better be a bleep button because I'm gonna need it.
Yeah.
Although I have been good. I have been good, I must say,
Mm,
compared to how I play with my other friends, because my other friends and we're a little more, shall we say, direct in our displeasure.
mhm. Right. Nintendo CPT? Or do you mean GPT?
Oof.
Yeah. Also, Sonic is in the YouTube chat. I want to acknowledge Sonic. Hello, Sonic. You may not see what Sonic is saying. I can read it on the air, but as part of the new Twitch guidelines, by the way, Twitch came out with the new terms of service. Part of the new guidelines they spell out for simulcasting is say you have to make sure you give your whole priority on your stream to Twitch, which is why we cannot do like a multi-chat on the screen here. It's only a Twitch chat that you can see and all the Twitch bells and whistles as we normally do. Now, given that, that means that as we simulcast on YouTube, once we're finished, we don't have to wait 24 hours to push this to YouTube. Now, if we were just broadcasting to Twitch and not YouTube, we would have to wait 24 hours. Audio podcast still has to wait 24 hours. But if we do Twitch and YouTube at the same time, then the YouTube stream, my understanding, can stay up right away. So I think that's kind of a cool thing.
Okay, I'm glad you understand that, boss, because you lost me.
Okay.
Like, I do law for a living, but just went over my head.
What other things here? Backwards compatibility would appear to be a lot of original Nintendo Switch games, and some Nintendo Switch games are going to be quote-unquote upgraded. Ooh, the fancy upgrade.
Except you're going to be paying for the privilege.
You know, of course.
So, I mean, to me, I'm like, okay, if it's 10, 20 bucks, sure. But if they want 30, 40 bucks for upgraded graphics,
Yeah.
no.
No, I think it's got to be reasonable considering. Well, you can get Mario Kart World. I keep calling it Super Mario Kart World. No, it's Mario Kart World. You can get it with the system for $50, but I read reports that apparently the standalone price is going to be $80 US. Is that where video game pricing is going to go now?
Oh, I'm from what I'm seeing, that's probably a guaranteed minimum for Switch 2 games.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but again, adjusted for inflation. Remember,
right?
I mean, and I'm going to carbonate myself here. I remember paying in 1980, I want to say 84 or so, for an Atari 2600 cartridge, 50 Canadian dollars.
Wow.
So adjust that for inflation, you're close to $100.
You probably get something for that price at a secondhand store in your neck of the woods.
Oh, if I still had that stuff, yeah.
So let's see. Accessibility was one thing that they brought up, and I think this is an important topic for you, Neff.
Okay, now, based on what I've seen,
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo still doesn't get what accessibility means. They still
Hmm.
don't. And it's very annoying because all of the other manufacturers of game consoles, either themselves or through sublicensing, have come up with semi-ingenious ways to help gamers who have limited dexterity or other issues that may impact their ability to play with others. For
Mm-hmm.
example, and I'm going to bring out my little friend here, a
Yep.
little bit of show and tell.
There you
Okay.
go. So
Now,
this is another reason you have to watch Twitch and YouTube. And Neff's holding up his rectangular white Xbox controller, which is called.
this is the 8-bit do SE controller. Now, it can do Xbox and Windows, of course. The
Mhm.
trick with it is that it's so tiny, as you noticed, that I can actually access it with one hand.
Mm.
And you see, that's the trick. You put it on a flat surface and you use it, as you would any other controller, but again, one-handed. So
Mm-hmm.
you have everything, including the trigger buttons, all on the top, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to on the sides or on the bottom.
Right.
Of course, right now I've been using it for various and sundry shooter games just to see if how it works. And I'm
Mm.
saying, okay, works pretty good. Now it has the option for wired or wireless.
Mm.
Wired also charges it so that you can use it wirelessly. Now,
Mm.
in the computer room, my home office, it is going to be connected wired. But my new little friend out in the living room, my new home theater PC,
Mm.
is wireless.
I see.
Now, my new little friend is a very expensive niche little toy, I would think, compared
Mm-hmm.
to most mini computers. But the trick is, it has a full size NVIDIA RTX 460 in it.
Wow.
Now only 8 gigabytes, mind you,
Mm-hmm.
but it's in a cube that's about 7 pounds. And this model has the i9, 32 gigs of RAM. Now, the only thing was the solid state drive was a piddly 512 gigabytes. And I'm
I
like,
see.
no, that's not going to work. So what I did, because I read up on this thing before I bought it, of course, is I purchased another SSD drive.
Okay.
And I spent about an hour last Sunday disassembling the bottom of it and just dropping the new drive in. Now,
Mm.
the trick with the disassembly, this was really hilarious, was that it has 4 rubber feet. You have to get the rubber feet off to get to the
Ooh.
screws underneath to take the bottom plate off where the SSD drive sit.
Interesting.
The thing was, to do this, and they don't show this properly in the video, and I mentioned this when I did a follow-up survey with them, you have to pinch to get to 2 little tabs under the feet to get the foot to pop off, twist and
Wow.
pop, right? So the person who did it was wearing gloves, but obviously had fingernails. Sadly, I'm a nervous person. I don't have no fingernails. What
Uh,
I do have is a very specialized little tool normally meant for picking up small screws. Like it's basically a pincher
okay.
with two metal blades on either side that are angled so that they can pinch together, right? So you pinch them in the spots where you're supposed to go with your fingers and turn. Got them off, then got the bolts off, and then just the bottom popped off. And Lenovo is ingenious here because all that they have to secure the drive, it's not a screw. It's
Mm.
basically a little plastic dongle that you lift up, put the drive in, and if you seated the drive correctly, the plastic dongle goes right in, pop, and it sits in perfectly.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's an arm
As
and
I
a
said,
leg to work out, though. Yeah.
yeah. Like I said, it wasn't as bad as it could have been. And frankly, the fact that I got it done without,
Mm.
resorting to 4-letter words or just throwing things in frustration, considering I'm doing this one-handed, mind you,
Mm.
you know, I think I did pretty well.
All right. Well, the it inspires me a little bit because we've had this conversation the last few weeks of my laptop, which is like I want to say now 7 years old or something like that at the most, maybe 6 years old, but still showing its age now. I may be due for a new laptop, and now Do I get a laptop? Do I wait because I want to get a Switch? And will the laptop prices be going up soon for obvious economic reasons? A bit of a question to ask, you know?
Yeah, now the trick may be, and I don't know how this would work. I'll be honest, depending on how external factors play out, it might be cheaper to buy one up here and bring it down there. You
Well,
know,
you think they'll stop me at the border if I do that?
or I come down there and I just happen to leave my laptop and come home without it.
Oh boy. Well, I think you gave us some ideas here. We have to write this down.
Yes, a little bit of, tomfoolery, but, as I like
Yeah.
to say, you don't document your crimes. Ugh.
One other thing I'll mention about the Switch 2, and this is apparently Japan specific. So this is information they gave to people who live in Japan. There's going to be the regular Nintendo Switch that will be able to do multiple languages, but I believe for a cheaper price, and I'm wondering if this is because of the way the yen is right now, for a cheaper price, you can get a slightly stripped down version of the Nintendo Switch that only works in Japanese, and you can only use Japanese language Nintendo Online accounts to access it.
Hmm. Now, that may be something that comes because I'd heard that
Mm-hmm.
there was a talk of there being regions for
Mm,
Nintendo Switch games. And I was going,
right,
regions? That's a bad plan. But maybe
right,
that's what this is about. In other words, they might say, okay, you can buy this game, but it'll only work on the nerfed, you know, Nintendo Switch 2.
right.
But
The more expensive one.
no, I mean, in other words, they nerf the cartridge, they nerf the game. So in other words, you can only play it in Japan on a cheaper
Okay.
system.
Yeah.
You know, that would be the only way that that would work. But I'm thinking to myself, and I'm going, but then why would you in Japan buy the cheaper system? Because again, you could
Mm-hmm.
do that. You could buy only Japanese games, but there may be games that
Right.
if they're if you can't play the you have to buy a regular Switch to play the more expensive game. It's like, ugh, no, doesn't
So
make any sense.
this is a Nintendo Life. So the Japanese language system is priced at about 50,000 yen, and the Nintendo Switch 2 with multi-language support is 70,000 yen. So that is a difference of approximately 130 to 140 US dollars.
Ooh, that's pretty dear.
So
I mean,
so
that's sort of in the neighborhood of what between the Americans and the Canadians, or the difference in the currencies. Ugh.
yes, so the retail for just the system itself is 449 US. So if we take the currency conversion, we're looking at about for the full-fledged version in Japan, 470 US dollars, versus the Japanese language version, 335 US dollars.
That's quite the difference, but it's quite the nerfing.
Yes. So yes, if you get the Japanese only version, it's sort of region locked in a way. So yeah.
Well, yeah, if it only play games that are basically Japanese language only, I
Yeah.
think, yeah, that's pretty much a region lock. Now, one thing I do notice is that they say you have to use the HDMI cable that the system comes with.
Really?
And I'm going, that doesn't make any sense because HDMI is HDMI. Now, of
Yeah.
course, there's a difference between regular HDMI, say, and 4K HDMI because
Right.
of the different tolerances, and then the
Mm.
8K HDMI, which is like, ick. I mean, I've seen the prices for those cables, and I'm like, no. Even if I had an 8K TV, no, I'm not
Uh,
paying that for a cable.
yeah.
So, like I said, I mean, I was kind of panicking in my head, going, then that means I need help to install this, new Switch too, because I can't reach back in back of my stereo anymore to, switch cables out. Ick.
Mm. So, yes, output via HDMI cable. I don't see, well, I
Well,
don't see any specifics. Let me see.
it was something I read. Maybe it's because at its highest output, it can do 4K at 120 hertz.
Okay,
Now,
let's see. Yeah,
now there aren't that many TVs that have that combination. There are computer monitors that have that combination,
that's
but there
true.
aren't that many TVs that do
Mm,
4K and 120. Most of them do 4K and 60 hertz.
mm.
So something else to look forward to when I buy a new TV, apparently.
Let's see. In dock mode, Switch 2 can output up to 120 frames per second at 1080p or 1440p, but only select games will support 120 frames per second.
Well, that suggests to me then, much like some of their other games on the first Switch,
Mm,
that it'll be the simpler games that can pull that off, and the more
mm.
graphically demanding will never be able to pull that off.
Right, right. So a lot to look forward to. Mika was our guest on our stream yesterday. We did Flight Simulator and fishing. And Mika was telling us after the stream is over that they could talk all day about what their thoughts were on the Switch 2 Direct. So I think, yes, a lot to be seen. But a lot of people are like me. They're like, in the words of Fry from Futurama, shut up and take my money.
Yeah, I mean, there is a part of me that says that's a lot of money for a console, but then there's
Yeah,
a part of me that says, look, it's Nintendo, and as long as I can transfer my purchases from the Switch to the Switch 2, I mean, I don't care about the graphics upgrades for most of those games,
right,
then I don't really care.
right.
Now, the one thing I do notice is that they've upgraded the internal memory
Hmm,
a very large amount, because the OLED Switch that I have has 64 gigabytes.
right,
This thing without the OLED screen is 256 gigabytes.
right.
So it's like, okay, but that leads me to wonder if maybe in a year's time they're going to release an OLED version and then up the memory, the storage memory, which is Nintendo's way of, milking the cow a little bit, as I like to say. But honestly, if you're going to play it in dock mode most of the time, who cares whether it's an OLED screen or not?
Exactly. Is what I do. I barely do it handheld these days. I always use the dock.
Yeah, same here, mainly because, me holding a Switch is like, no.
But no, like I said, a lot of news to come up. I'm sure in the future. Nintendo's doing a pre-sale, and every major retailer is going to do a pre-sale, and that's going to start next week. So, a lot to look forward to with the Nintendo Switch 2. And before we change the topic, one thing I will bring up again. Alva pointed this out on his personal page just today. One of the cameras for the Switch 2 is going to be in the form of a potted piranha plant from the Mario world. The piranha plant open has the camera, and your privacy screen, you close the piranha plant.
I don't know whether to be amazed or frightened that Nintendo would actually do that.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's Nintendo or somebody licensed by Nintendo, but yeah, that's the plan.
Well, licensee or not, I'm just going ... Oh God.
The old gold Nintendo seal of approval.
Oh, there's a blast from the past, let me tell you.
And speaking of blasts from the past, I'll do a little segue here, talking about anime shows that we're watching. So Bria and I just restarted Hinomaru Sumo, which we tried to watch, I think, last year when we were all out in the middle of the country. And I think we fell asleep in the middle of the first episode. But we started rewatching it, and it's it's pretty cool, especially given that we have an interest in sumo wrestling. This is about a budding high school sumo club led by a guy named Hinomaru.
Yeah, that was one I thought was interesting, but then I remember I put it on my pile,
Hmm.
and my pile doesn't go down. It really doesn't.
Hmm.
Especially this time of year when I have other things that I'm watching. It's like, okay, I have to dedicate some time to get my pile down. Oh, but there's this thing, and there's this thing, and there's yeah.
And then there's something that I picked up that I remember watching, my goodness, maybe like almost 20 years ago, because I think that's how long it's been since it came out. Tsukiyomi Moon Phase. I picked up on sale from Amazon the save DVD discs. Remember those save discs from Funimation, Neff? Um,
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
so this is just bare bones. It shows up and I rattle it. Two of the four discs are shaking in the case, but everything seems to be intact. Only cost $20, and I'm going back, and I'm just transported back to when I was in youth. Back in the days, Neff, when Funimation was a standalone company that was recently purchased by Navar, that's when this case came out, 2011, and you have these English dubbed previews that air in the beginning, and then you have the menu that comes up with the whole opening theme song karaoke version or instrumental version.
Yeah, that takes me back. That reminds me, I have some really old DVDs. I'm wondering if they still like Bitrot is a thing apparently, but I'm wondering if these DVDs still work.
Well, they
'Cause I've
work on
got one
mine,
from
yeah.
no, because I've got a DVD series from the turn of the century that I'm
Okay,
curious to see if the discs still run
I see.
because that would be like 26 years ago.
Yeah. No, they these appear on my Ultra HD player in all the upscale glory. So no complaints really. The picture looks more or less okay. I mean, some of the smoothness you can notice because I guess they upscale the whole thing for you from the device. So
Mm, yeah, that is a problem I notice when you're watching older programming,
all right.
and especially if you're for example, my, both my TV and my AVR audio
Mm-hmm.
video receiver can do
Right.
upscaling. I try to limit it to only one of them because if
Mm-hmm.
they both try, it can turn into a bit of a mess,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you're dealing with like a DVD where the quality wasn't the greatest to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, the original Oh My Goddess OVA series
Oh.
when that was first produced on DVD, the first run or two, which I bought, had a nasty rainbowing effect at the edges.
Mm.
And unless I nerf one of the two, it seems to not get rid of it. It seems to make it worse.
Oh man.
And it's like every character has this weird rainbow halo around them
Yeah.
as they're moving around, which is like, ugh.
Reminds me of those failed Sailor Moon film transfers when they originally did the DVDs of those. Remember?
Okay, now I'm trying to remember which transfer that was because I
ADV.
bought
I
it
think
on
I want to say it was ADV. Didn't ADV release it initially, the original Japanese version, but it was like transferred from like the films?
Well, no, because the Genion had it
No, Genion.
first.
Okay, I had the wrong company. Yeah,
Yeah,
Pioneer
yeah,
Genion
Genion had
did
it first.
did.
Yeah, yeah, they did the first, and yeah, some of the discs where it's like, okay, and then ADV did theirs, and it's like it was better, except they dropped episodes accidentally. Oops.
Oh yeah. Okay,
Yeah, the
no, then it
Dinosaur
was
Island
ADV.
episode.
It was ADV because Genion released. I remember when early days of DVD, you had S, Super S, that sort of thing, and they had the I guess late '90s, early 2000s English dubs. So those were on the Pioneer
Mhm.
Genion discs, and then ADV
Yeah,
came up with the original series, and I want to say the R as well. I'm not sure, but at least the original series, and those were like the film transfers.
yeah, yeah, that's right. I remember. Yeah, I remember because again, there was that missing episode from the ADVs,
Yes, and then there
which
was a recall
everybody
for that.
complained. Yeah, everybody complained about, but I'm like looking at that episode going, this is okay. I mean, Dinosaur Island. Okay. I, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Really quick, what are you watching before we go into Anime North talk?
Okay, well, Sakamoto Days is still going on and it's still hilarious. It's also still not for kids
Yes.
because there's enough dismemberment, there's enough death or near death that you're like going, okay, then.
Yeah, we can
I mean,
attest to that
one of
because
the
we
things,
watched the first core already. Yeah.
yeah, it's like, wait a minute. It's like, okay. Let's see. What else? The alchemy one. Oh, and the headhunted in another world
hmm
to be a demon general. That one's hilarious because it's this salary man, promoted, and brought to this world as a demon general, and he does successfully, apply business principles to some of the weirdest and most violent situations that he de-escalates. It's like,
hmm
oh, come on, we know this is fantasy, but come on. And there was another one I was watching that was really like sort of like the guilty pleasure one. Oh yeah, the one with the ninja who wants to be a neat.
mm.
She just basically wants to sit around her room all day and play her room all day and play video games while doing the ninja thing when she has to, and it's sort of like going, okay, sure, have fun with that. Oh, and I'm married to the girl in my class that I hate. Now,
you
again, I I want this series in English because the dialogue is so fast in Japanese. I am literally
you lost?
doing this, trying to follow all the subtitles. I have to pause, rewind, and it's like, "Argh."
Interesting.
So, but it's a fun series, and I'm
Mm.
I'm reading the manga, and it's like, okay, yeah, this is hilarious. And right now, it's into the shall we say melodramatic bits,
hmm
and it's like, oh dear, I see bad things happening.
Well, lots of new stuff coming out, and well, Hinamato Sumo is something we've had on our list for a little bit, and we're touching Freyren here and there as well once in a while.
Yeah, Freyrin is one of those where you can literally just pick up an episode and then not watch another episode for 4 weeks.
Oh yeah,
Or if you're like me, you just sit there and watch, and where did 6 hours go? Huh?
yeah, a lot of individual stories. So I give it that
Yeah.
much, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean that's what helps it be such an engaging series that you can literally say, okay, I'll watch this episode about this character, then walk away, then this character,
mhm,
then walk away. I'll be
yeah,
curious to see now with Anime North coming up, how many of those characters will show up in costume, in the
in
costumes that will be
cosplay.
wandering around the hall.
I see. Well, before we touch into that, once again, this is the XAR podcast. And if you're watching us right now, we do apologize for Neff pulling a disappearing act like David Copperfield every 90 seconds. We think that Discord is either playing with him or it's playing with me because before we went on the air, he flickered a few times and then my Discord went kaput.
Yeah, I love how you use those technical terms. It's very exciting how you in your field, and it's like you're using these technical terms to kaput, and I'm going, okay, yeah, sure.
Kaput is something I use quite often, unfortunately, where I work. But so, Neff, I know you spoke about Anime North at the start of last podcast, but since that podcast we didn't transfer to audio, would you please repeat about Anime North and what you do at the charity auction?
Okay, well, Anime North is Canada's largest fan-run anime convention. We're now in. I'm just trying to remember. We're getting up there. We're getting close to 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a part of it as a attendee and now working with the charity auction myself since at least the charity auction since 2008. Started as a staffer and eventually the head said, "Hey, I think you're competent enough here," and basically handed me the whole thing. And I'm going, "Help." But with my crew, we've managed to, raise a lot of money over the years for the Toronto Hospital for Sick Children, which is a hospital dedicated, of course, to children's medicine, but also has programs for parents and guardians to help them help their children as, they deal with the various illnesses they go through. As a former sick kids kid myself, I find that this is a more, engaging way to help
Mhm.
because in theory, I could just, write a check and there you go. But I do this every year because, I find it's more engaging and it gives me a sense of satisfaction to say, okay, together as a team, we did this.
Yes.
Last year we raised over $10,000. I'd like to beat that again.
Mm.
That will, of course, come down to the generosity of both the vendors and our visitors who will see our display on Friday and Saturday and then come to the auction on Sunday. If you are coming to the charity auction, it is, of course, in the Toronto Congress Center. The auction itself will be in the Cohen Ballroom on Sunday from 12 to 4. The display will run on Friday and Saturday. I will say the Friday will be more of a setup day, so there won't be as much, but probably by Saturday around, I'd say 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we'll pretty much have most of what we will be auctioning off. Most of,
Yeah.
because there will always be the surprise stuff that shows up, either
Yes.
because we get surprised.
Yeah.
One of our bigger surprises was actually literally left on our doorstep on Sunday at 9 a.m. when we showed up. There was this box, and within this box was 2 storage boxes for Warhammer 40K figures.
Mhm.
We did a quick search on Amazon. Each of those boxes retailed. One of them was for like $300 Canadian. The other one
Wow.
was 150.
Mhm.
And we raised a fair bit of coin with that because once people saw it and realized what it was, they were like, okay, mine. So whoever donated those, thank you very much. You helped
Yep.
the good cause. And of course, we have the mystery box. The mystery
Mm.
box is so named because there's always something in there that is a complete mystery, except to the people who put the box together. So there are staff who don't know what's in the mystery box, my own staff.
Wow.
And that helps part and parcel of, okay, come on, bid on this box, bid on this box. You know, now being the head of the thing, I tend to want to know what's in the box
Of
so that I can,
course.
hype it up properly.
Mm.
And if tradition holds, there may be something rather spectacular in that box. What will it be? You'll have to come and see because we don't even tell you in the display what's in the mystery box. You
Yeah.
got to show up at the auction.
Boy. So, so that is the charity auction, and that is on Sunday, as Neff mentioned, the Sunday of Anime North. And what's the weekend of Anime North again?
That is the weekend after Victoria Day, or as I like to call that particular holiday, the 2-4 weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Even though this year it is the 19th Victoria Day, which makes it very early this year. So we are talking about the weekend of the 23rd to the 25th inclusive.
Okay. Bree has a question, I believe, for you, Neff. Do you guys partner with anime and anime-related companies for the charity auction?
Well, we always reach out to companies. Sometimes we get a response, sometimes we don't. Again, and we have uh, our local organizations such as Chorus and White, who run the YTV channel,
Mm-hmm.
which has a fair anime collection that runs. excuse me, during the year. Now they tend to produce show. They tend to pick shows not like Freyrin. So their shows tend to be a little more skewed towards a younger audience per
Mm-hmm.
se now. But of course, that's what business is. It's whatever's popular, whatever can actually draw in eyeballs. I mean, I don't even have the channel to be quite honest anymore because I'm like, no, no, there are other channels that have what I want to watch. To be
Mm-hmm.
honest.
All right. Now let's go into. You want to tell us the story about the package?
Okay.
The package
Now,
that I sent to Neff with stuff that Bree and I bought in Japan. Some of the stuff, an item or two, I think, for you, and everything else is for the charity auction. So,
okay. So JR didn't tell me, first of all, well, two important things. One, the size of the box. Two, the weight of the box. Now, why is that important? That's because, frankly, I'm a medical mess. And extreme weight or a bulky item, and I'm kind of stuck. So I got a bright idea. When I got the notification that the item was at the local post office for pickup, which
Mhm.
was in this case inside of a pharmacy,
Okay.
I said, okay, instead of doing the stupid thing, I am going to take a shopping cart and bring it to the post office outlet. So I trundle there, through this thing with the shopping cart, and I head over to the post office. Now, the young lady at the other side of the counter sort of looked at me, looked at the shopping cart, and raised an eyebrow. And I said, "Yeah, I'm here to pick up a package." Now, of course, my cane was in the cart, so I think she got the idea after half a second.
Mm.
So she pulls out the box. Now she's handling it like it's nothing. Now, unfortunately, again, because of my condition, I'm not going to take that as gospel that it is, nothing to carry. So, I sign for it, I do what I have to do, and then I pick up the box and I'm like, oh God, like this box weighs nothing. It's not even bulky. And I'm like going, I feel like a noob here. So I said to myself, I said, okay, I can't leave the shopping cart right here. So I put it in there and I drag the shopping cart and myself out to the exit where I, put the shopping cart, in the corral, grab the box and easily carry it and myself outside to my car. And it's like, I looked like a moron.
Oh, man.
It's like, oops. The best part is the box was so compact that by the time I got into the car, and again, this was because I didn't know the size. I had actually brought, I have a cart with a battery so that the cart moves beside me. I just push the trigger and away it goes. So I'm like, I didn't need to do this because I had one of my big green bags with with handles and a zipper and pulled the box and threw it in the bag and there you go. And I was like, okay, so I didn't need to go through all this.
The reason I'm laughing is because Bree just responded, that just means we have to get more.
Oh, jeez. or I have to get more myself and eventually, just pack a suitcase like I did the last time I was in Japan.
To make a pit stop in Pearson on the way home.
Yeah, I don't know now with the way things are in security. I'm not sure you can get that stuff just toss it out the door sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, let's see what we got.
Okay, now I did the smart thing.
Mm-hmm.
I pre-removed the tape.
Pre-removed the tape.
I did not open the box, but I pre-removed the tape. So
okay, well, you may make a mess, which I do apologize for, but we had to put some packing material in there.
That's okay. I hope you can still hear me. I had to put the microphone a little bit away from my face.
Yep, we can still hear you a little bit, yeah.
Okay. Ah, that's why he said that. Okay. Let's see. First things first, we have to pull out what's here. Now, this, I believe, it's not showing up really well.
Probably it's shining off the light too much because there's a white box. No worries.
Yeah.
If you hold it that way, we can make it out. That is the Kagamine doll that Bree pulled out of the crane on the first try.
Aha. Okay, so we'll put that.
That's for the charity auction, I think.
Okay. Charity auction. That over there. Now we very gently, so that we don't end up with all the packing material on the floor.
Now your camera just disappeared, Neff. We had so much fun, and now you've just gone poof.
What the?
Yeah.
Huh? Okay, let me check one thing. There's one possibility. I'm going to try one thing, and you might hear a noise. Let's see what happens here.
He disconnects something by accident. He's been invisible man all night, Karen, because his camera's been cutting in and out.
Okay.
So this might be something we edit out from the audio podcast.
Yeah, my camera just actually died.
Uh-oh. That's why it's been cutting out. Oh no.
Well, yeah, the power just went.
Oh.
Hold on. This is quite.
So if you're watching us right now and you're wondering what the deal is with Neff's camera, I think we might have figured it out the hard way.
not good.
No.
Yeah, that's not good because I have to replace this camera really quick.
Hmm.
Wait a minute. I have
The meme
camera.
emote explains it all on the bottom of the screen.
See here. Okay, I plugged it back in. And oh dear. I believe this camera is how you say Kaputski.
Kaput? Did you take a picture of the contents before you shipped, JR? Oh, I don't know if I did.
Hold on a second here.
Oh, man.
Let me try restarting the camera software on the off chance.
Okay.
That's what this could be. Okay. Don't switch. Because there's a possibility. Let's see. So let's kill the software. And again, you know, this is technology, folks. It dies at the most inopportune times. Let's see. So we killed the camera software. And we killed the other. I mean, I do have another camera as a backup, folks, but it is ugly. It'll make me uglier.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. Well, if we have to use it, we have to use it. But let's see. Okay. Now I just have to do this. Come on. Come on. Oh, that would help.
No, I'm checking my phone real quick, Brie. I don't have it. No.
Well, like I said, give me a minute here and I'll figure out what's going on. It's
no worries. I was just answering Bree's question, so.
Well, like I said, either the camera has died, which would be annoying, especially because I have a hearing next week I have to do in my real job. Or, you know, let's see. Okay, so we've killed the app. Okay, so now we're going to start the app all over again.
Okay.
And it does make a sound, so that does suggest to me that it is actually
okay.
Come on. Nope.
I heard that.
Yep. Okay, let's just kill that.
You just gave Flax the excuse to post uninstall in the chat. Ha 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 ha.
Ah. Okay, and let's see. Yes, the camera's back.
All right, cool. Let's fire up again.
Let me put the camera back in the proper place, boss. Otherwise, you're not going to see very, very much.
Yep.
I just have to see where it has to go in here to make sure I can actually. Okay. All right. That was annoying, and I don't know if that was because the software took a dump or potentially the camera's taking a dump.
Right.
And like I said, that would be very annoying because in my real job, I need a camera. That's
right.
You just see here now. Okay, now. See, I'm using a different software. Let's see. Come on, you lazy thing. And
there we go.
There we go. Okay, so fun and games, folks. Fun and games.
Where were we?
Okay, now there's another bag, and it's a plastic bag that has things in it. Except the things are falling out. Hold on. The bag went in one direction. Okay, what do we got here? I think this is the Sailor Moon.
Yep, charity auction. All charity auction. So you have the plastic bag. You can do whatever you want, but it's a Sailor Moon store. There is a bag. There's another bag in there inside which you could probably put the Sailor Moon, the other Sailor Moon contents. Okay.
Well, first of all, let me try and have the packing materials not attack me.
Okay.
That always helps. Okay, that was fun. Not. Okay, let's see now. Trying to make sure I don't have a mess to clean up after the show. Okay, let's see. So we have a plushie of some sort. Okay, let's see here. It's in a pink bag. Does that ring any bells to you, JR?
A tank bag. Well, let's take a look. I think that's yours.
It's me, Luigi.
We picked that up at in Universal Studios Japan, I believe.
Oh, it's very nice. Thank you very much.
So that gift is for you.
All right. Well,
and there are a few other things in there for you too, I believe. So we have the Sailor Moon stuff for the charity auction, the Kagamine doll for the charity auction. I think if there's anything else in there, it's for you.
Okay, we have an egg.
Oh yes, you might want to. That's from the gachapon. I pulled that and I said, yeah, we got to give that to Neff.
Okay, and I think there's one more item in here. Let's see. It's in an envelope.
Well, yep.
Okay.
Inside that envelope is everything in there is yours, including a few other envelopes. But you'll have to open it up to so you can
Okay.
figure it out. Incidentally, Neff, since you restarted your camera, it's been holding up.
Well, don't forget, I didn't just restart it. I reconnected it.
Yes.
So I think maybe there was a connection issue, but
Okay.
I'm very surprised because I'm like going, I don't usually touch that connection at all. Let's see. What should we start with first? Should we start with the egg?
Go ahead with the egg. Open the egg, and then we'll open the manila envelope.
Okay, now you just have to explain to me. Okay, I'm just trying to see how the egg opens here.
All right. So yeah,
There it is. I found it.
Okay, cool.
I found the catch.
Okay.
Come
there
on.
might be more than one catch.
Famous last words. No, it looks like there's only the one. The trick is that this thing is not. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait. Oh, this is ingenious. It's Neff proof.
Uh-oh.
No. I'll get it open one way or another. Oh, there we go. And it is. Darling.
Yeah, you can see it very well. That's a lum thing that we picked up for you.
Yeah, very nice. Lum with a bath stool. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's put that aside. Okay. And close it again and probably never be able to open it again. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Put that like that.
All right. And now the mystery envelope.
The mystery envelope. Oh dear.
Which again is yours.
Thank you very much. Let's see.
We picked this up. We picked up the stuff in that envelope in Tokyo. We went to a store that had a particular anime exhibition happening inside, which was cool to see, considering there was really nobody else in the store.
Okay, let's see. New space, new culture, new blank. Base yard, Tokyo. And I believe I see. I believe I can fly. Woo! Ah, yes. From dun 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 dun.
That's it. Who's that character?
That would be Arya. The pink-haired scary one.
Yep.
Literally.
So there was a Dan to Dan exhibit going on inside that store, and among some of the items are these two red envelopes that you see. Those are blind box envelopes.
Okay, so we'll start with the smaller envelope because it reminds me of the SSD drive that I bought. Actually, it's about the same size, more or less.
Yep. So
let's see here.
See if we can open that up, and we don't know what it is. It's sealed. So you can explain it to us once you open it.
I was gonna say, sealed on a porch with Funkin' Wagnalls at noon today.
Yeah.
And anybody that gets that reference is very old.
Da 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 da. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. There we go. Ooh, it's a button of some description. Oh, it's the pink-haired scary one.
Again,
let's see. Yes.
Nice. What is that, like a bookmark or?
No, it looks like a pin you wear.
Okay.
Which is hilarious to me. I'm like, okay. I mean, as I said, the character is fun, but when she transforms, it's like, oh dear. I mean, you've seen Dan to Dan, haven't you?
No.
Oh, you have to watch that. That's a fun show.
We have to ask Bree if we should add it to the watch list there.
Okay, now it looks like there's something else in there, but it's quite caught.
Oh, in the same envelope?
Oh no, it's just the backing for that. Okay.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
All right, there we go. So I'll just put that back in the envelope, maybe. I don't want to drop anything because I'm going to drop it on the floor. I'm not going to pick it up again in a second here. Okay, there we go. Stick that in there. Whoopsie. Okay, there we go. Doink. Okay. Now this larger red envelope really intrigues me because I'm like, okay, it's rather large.
Yeah.
It's rather red. It's probably a postcard of some description. Would be my uneducated guess.
Okay.
It's very much a bit of a challenge. Ah, there we are. Have to find the leading edge and just pull.
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. And let's see here.
Record those sounds, folks.
Oh, here we go. Now this is very cool.
What do we have there?
That is the male lead when his how do I explain this? He has a spirit demon in him.
Okay.
And that's what he looks like when he lets the spirit demon out.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, actually, technically, what he has is he has the spirit demon's powers. The spirit demon depowered ends up residing in a lucky cat statue.
Oh, well, Bree, there's your ticket right there.
She's not very. This spirit, who is female, is not very happy about being stuck as a lucky cat statue, and lets the world know about it repeatedly with relish. And even in English, her dialogue's scary. Let's see here. I just want to put this back in the envelope. There we go. I mean, this envelope is almost designed that you can pull things out, but you're not putting them back in again. Okay. Oops. I think we'll leave that for now, and we'll deal with it later. Thank you very much, JR and Bree. That was very thoughtful of you.
Yep, and we hope
very much.
We hope the charity auction items help you out when it comes time.
Yes, well, again, I thank you. I will say that we've had already a couple of vendors reach out saying they're donating stuff, which makes me very happy, but it means writing a lot of emails. Yes. So I'm going to figure out a way this year to not have to write individual emails to each and every person without a little bit of automation in there.
Yeah.
Because even using Dragon Dictate, after a while, your throat kind of...
Yeah. Well, folks, this has been a blast doing the podcast. It looks like we fixed Neff's problem inadvertently, right? So we're happy to help you tonight.
Well, as I said, I always appreciate tech support, when I can't handle things myself, which unfortunately tends to be nowadays more often than not. But I do appreciate that, it's like, okay, when I can actually do something myself nowadays, it's like, oh, I got it done. Oh, yep. I got it right. Oh, is there a flying cow over the moon tonight?
Good night, Moon. Good night, Neff. And good night, this podcast, because we've reached the end. I'm making a decision, by the way. We're not going to do anything after the podcast, so we're going to go off the air when we're done here tonight. It's just because going through stuff in my head. I do have a busy work week up ahead these next few days, so I'll probably be spending a little time editing the audio podcast to make sure it goes up on Friday night. So we will say until next time with this podcast. Next stream will probably be next week. We'll probably pick up a new game. We have a few to choose from. We could continue Tyrion Cuthbert. We could continue with the next Ace Attorney game. We could continue Ace Attorney Investigations. We could continue Sam and Max. So we have a few options there. So I'll be talking to Neff and some of the others to see what we want to do, because we had just wrapped up Ace Attorney after how many streams before we went away?
I kind of lost count, to be quite honest, because it was like, this is the case that never ends.
Yeah, exactly.
And on my friends.
And hopefully some of the...
Which reminded me, sadly, of my work job, but that's besides the point.
Oh, yeah. Thousands, yep. So we will see you guys on Twitch and possibly on YouTube, because these YouTube simulcasts seem to be working okay. If it's a podcast, we just have to go back and try to edit the title and the description later on. So that's still sort of a work in progress. And plus, when I start the YouTube stream here, YouTube provides like a stream key that you have to create a new one, but it lists all of your previous YouTube streams. So it's become a pain in the neck to try to click on the one that says start a new stream. So a little bit of a thing to navigate with that.
Well, as I said, it's like this is all fun because there's always something that goes wrong, and there's always something you got to figure out. Okay, what went wrong? How do we fix it? And how do we fix it so that we're not tearing out our hair?
Right.
Now, in JR's case, he has to worry about that, and me, it's too late.
Yeah. Well, at least for tonight, if you look very carefully, it's the green fringe around my hair from the green screen. That's the best we can do, because otherwise you don't see me, or you don't see my hair, or that sort of thing.
Well, if it was without the hair, we could say bald and balder. That's how we title the stream, bald and balder. There we go.
All right. Well, the title of the next podcast, maybe. Social media, Neff, your turn.
All right. If you have any questions, concerns, compliments, or complaints about this podcast or of our Twitch streams, drop us a line at linktree.com/anime radio or hit us up on social media. You can hit us up on our Facebook page at Anime Radio or our Instagram account at Anime Radio or our mascots account at XAR Mascots. Our archive versions of this podcast are available at xarpodcast.net or your favorite podcasting platform. We have a Blue Sky account, Anime Radio, at bluesky.social. We have a Twitch channel, Extreme Anime Radio, and our YouTube channel at Extreme Anime Radio. Oh, don't forget, email at extremeanimeradio@gmail.com.
All right. So we'll point out real quick that we talked about Sakamoto Days. One of the projects we have going on right now with our mascots is Yumemi as Lu Xiaotang.
I was wondering if you would get into that, because Lu Xiaotang is a very interesting character. And she has one really bad habit. What's that habit, you ask? Drunken fist.
Yes.
I won't say anything more.
We saw that.
I won't say anything more. Yeah.
So, yes, Yumemi is Lu Xiaotang, which is being worked on now, which we're looking forward to showing to you when it's finished. We got the initial sketch today, and I think we're all happy with it so far. All right. Well, thank you, Neff. And again, enjoy your presents and enjoy the charity auction items. And until we see you guys next time, for Neff, I'm JR. Thanks for watching and listening, and remember,
keep on looking out for the Extreme Radio podcast, and don't forget, the archive versions of this podcast are available at xarpodcast.net. That's xarpodcast.net, or your favorite podcasting platform. Oh, and don't forget, we do Twitch streams, so keep up on our social media to find out what our next Twitch stream is. Good night, everybody.
Good night. See you next time. All right, so our audio podcast is done. The live stream continues. We'll just wrap things up over the next minute or two here. Yeah, it seems that the green screen is holed up, but as you can see, like, I had to blow up my face on the screen. Otherwise, if you look in the corner, in the upper right corner, you can see that you can see the border of the screen right there.
Oh yeah, just that little titch. See, that's the one disadvantage of the setup you have versus mine, because mine's just a wall, right?
Right.
A green wall, and it's a square wall, which makes this setup a little bit easier. Now, of course, now that the camera came off, I have to either play with it again or just maybe play with my graphics again, so that you can actually see most of them. Although I don't think I'm doing too badly. I mean,
no, you're fine. Yeah. Yeah, the camera auto-adjusted from time to time, but other than that.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, I keep forgetting that there's a cameraman mode on this thing that tries to follow me, and sometimes it does a horrible job.
All right, folks. So thank you for watching us tonight, and any last words, Neff? Did you had something? You're going to say something?
No, I was going to say... Thank you again for the gifts. They're lovely. I will say this: I will try to return the favor at some point. I do want to, go away for a few weeks because, like, I need to get out of this treadmill that is my real job for a few
Yeah.
weeks
Gotcha.
because I walk into the job and it's like, there's a fire, there's a fire, there's another fire, and all I have is a squirt gun.
Oh
So it's
man.
kind of hard to get rid of all the fires at once.
No, that doesn't help, does it?
Nope.
All right. So no, we'll definitely talk about that in due course. That will close it out for the podcast, everybody. Again, go to our Discord. We'll post the next squirt gun full of gasless.
Yeah, that would kind of backfire on me, literally. Ugh.
We're gonna leave it at that, I think. But I guess plan on Tuesday of next week for the next stream, and then we will take it from there. I guess, as we always say, it does seem to work. I'll show you one more thing here with the with my setup here before we say goodnight. And this requires me to turn up my Alexa app here. So let me pull that up. And let
Turn
me...
off or turn up?
Well, hold on. I'll explain.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So you remember when we were testing this last week, we got this bright light that looked like that, and that sort of messes up a little bit. So what do? You take that LED bulb, which is an Alexa bulb, and you turn it green, and now it looks like that.
Oh, that is cool. Now I will say this: I do have some smart bulbs in my house, but they're the older type that aren't, multicolor.
Mm.
When these ones die, I will definitely put in multicolored ones because there are a lot of fun things you can do with those.
Right.
Including, saying the magic word and the words red alert. So what do you think happens when you do that? Strobing red lights and the sound effects.
Yeah, or your Toronto Maple Leafs goal horn, maybe.
Yeah, actually, that's an option too. Toronto Maple Leafs blue and the goal horn. And recently they've been playing, well enough that they have first in the division for now. Now, can they keep it to the end of the season?
Right.
Don't know. But if they do, and everybody else stays relatively in the same positions, we're going to get a bit of hockey history here.
Okay.
Or at least going back in time to what was affectionately called, and I use affectionately with air quotes, the Battle of Ontario. The Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Ottawa Senators.
Right.
And the Toronto Maple Leafs made the Ottawa Senators their chew toy. Every season that they met in the playoffs, it was like Toronto would say, "Ooh, lunch," and they'll chew them up and spit them out. Now, this year, of course, Ottawa is a bit meaner. They have the ugly Tkachuk brother, Brady.
Right.
And I mean, people say, why do you call him that? And I'm saying, look at Matthew. Look at Brady. Matthew looks like he's a movie star. Brady looks like the thug extra that dies in the second act in A Hail of Bullets. Okay? So, but he's a mean one. I'll give him that. He's mean. So,
all right. Well, Neff will go back, and now you have a few days to think about how to set up your red zone graphics there.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
All right, folks. Well, thank you again for watching us on Twitch and YouTube, and we will see you guys next week, Tuesday. We'll pick a game, and we'll let you know what we're going to do. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next time.